another expansive hall, expansive temple room you have here, compared to our little temple in central London. Our temple room must be like one corner of this temple room. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari. Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Vaja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Vaja Janaranjana. Vaja Janaranjana. Jamuratira Vanachari. Jamuratira Vanachari. Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari. Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari. Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Vaja Janaranjana. Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Vaja Janaranjana. Janaranjana. Jamuratira Vanachari. Vanachari. Jamuratira Vanachari. Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari. Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Vaja Janaranjana. Niranjana. Jamuratira Vanachari. Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Jaya Vishnu Bhat Paramahamsa Parirajakatayasto Sata His Divine Loving Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavarinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Shri Gaur Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shama Kund Radha Kund Kiri Govardhana Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Mai Purnavati Dham Ki Jai Ganga Chamuramai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Nitya Gaura Premanandi Hari Bo. All glories to somebody birthdays. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Varanga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Now, unless I'm mistaken, you're reading from text 46, yeah? Canto 10, 82-46. Okay. So we'll continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 82, entitled Krishna Meets the Inhabitants of Vrindavan, and text 46. Evam hitani bhutani bhuteshu atma manatataha atma uppayam mai atapare pasyat bhatam akshare evam hi etani bhutani Bhuteshu atmanamattataha manamanatataha upayam mayita pare pasyatat bhatam akshare evam hi etani bhutani bhuteshu atmamanatataha upayam mayita pare Pasyata bhatam akshare evam hi etani bhutani bhuteshu atma manatataha ubayam mahita pare pasyata bhatam akshare. Sorry. Okay, do once more. Evam hi etani bhutani Bhuteshu atma manatataha Ubayam mayita pare Pasyatat bhatam akshare. Evam hitani bhutani Bhuteshu atmanatataha Hare Pasyata patam akshare. Anybody else on the men's side? Evam hitani bhutani Bhuteshu atman manatataha Upayam mayita pare Pasyata patam akshare. Ladies, evam itani bhutani Bhuteshu atmanamatataha Upayam mayita pare Pasyata patam akshare. Evam hi itani bhutani Bhuteshu atman manatataha upayamita pare pasyaya patam akshare. Okay, word to word and translation in purple by disciples of Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Evam, in this manner, he indeed, itani, these, bhutani, material entities, bhuteshu, within the elements of creation, atma, the self, atmana, in its own true identity, tataha, pervasive, upayam, both, mai, within me, ata, that is to say, pare, within the supreme truth, pashyata, you should see, abhatam, manifested, akshare, within the imperishable. Translation. In this way, all created things reside within the basic elements of creation, while the spirit souls pervade the creation, remaining in their own true identity. You should see both of these, the material creation and the self, as manifest within me, the imperishable supreme truth. Please repeat. In this way, all created things reside within the basic elements of creation, while the spirit souls pervade the creation, remaining in their own true identity. You should see both of these, the material creation and the self, as manifest within me, the imperishable supreme truth. Purport. One should properly understand the relationships among the material objects of this world. The elements comprising their basic substance, the individual spirit souls, and the one supreme soul. The various objects of material enjoyment, such as pots, rivers, and mountains, are manufactured from the basic material elements, earth, water, fire, and so on. These material elements pervade material things as their cause, while these spirit souls pervade them in their special role as the enjoyer, Shratmana. And ultimately, the material elements, their products, and the living entities are all manifested within and pervaded by the imperishable, perfectly complete Supreme Soul, Krishna. A Jnani, with realization of these facts, should feel no separation from the Lord in any situation. But the gopis of Raj are much more elevated in their Krishna consciousness than ordinary Jnanis, because of their intense love for Krishna in his most human-like, all-attractive aspect as the young cowherd boy, Krishna's internal potency. Excuse me, read that again. In his most human-like, all-attractive aspect as the young cowherd boy, Krishna's internal potency, Yogamaya, covered their knowledge of his majestic aspects, such as his all-pervasiveness. Thus the gopis were able to relish the intense ecstasy caused by their love in separation from him. Only in jest is Sri Krishna ascribing to them a lack of spiritual discrimination. In purple. Om Akhanatamarandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Let's read the verse again. Evam hi itani bhutani bhuteshu atmana mana tataha upayam yata pare pashyatapatam akshare. In this way, all created things reside within the basic elements of creation, while the spirit souls pervade the creation, remaining in their own true identity. You should see both of these, the material creation and the self, as manifest within me, the imperishable supreme truth. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Bhagavate Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachaline Nivasisha Shunyavadi Pashtata Satadani Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Impression of the Vaishnavas, everyone present here. I'll try and say a few words on this verse and purport of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, this is what is being described here. From one perspective, there's different levels which is being described in this verse here, and perhaps throughout all this chapter. One is the basic Gyan, or the basic Sambandha Gyan, knowledge of the Jiva, of the Supreme Lord, and the material world, and the interrelationship. And the fact that everything is Devi Hi Esha Gunamayi, that everything actually is a manifestation from the Supreme Absolute Truth. Yeah. So therefore, in that sense, it's understood to be divine. Devi Hi Esha Gunamayi. Mama Mata Turatyaya Mam Eve Papatyante Mayam Edam Taranti Te. So although the Lord is all pervading, everything's coming from Him, this all-pervading energy has its stupefying potency, yeah, which we are under as conditioned souls. So the Supreme Lord is everywhere. He's situated within everything, but conditioned souls cannot see Him anywhere. Yeah? He is everywhere. But due to misidentification, as we know, of the Jiva misidentifies himself as being the product of the material world. But for a self-realized soul, this whole world and its natural manifestation is nothing else but udipan, or it gives realization of the Supreme Lord. Yeah? For a self-realized soul, everything is spectacular. Everything, because it's all coming from Krishna. Yeah? Krishna is situated everywhere. And one such devotee who was at this level of realization is a wonderful story of Prahlad Maharaj, where he had full perception due to his loving attraction and loving devotion to the Supreme Lord. He saw Him manifest everywhere, yeah? Much to the frustration and annoyance of his not so loving father, Hiranyakashipu. Yeah? He couldn't see Him anywhere. Yeah? So when in his rage, this is a demon, he was in rage, in anger at the devotion of Prahlad, yeah, for for Vishnu. Yeah. So almost sarcastically, as the atheist may challenge, he asked, "So where is your God? Where is He?" This is a classic challenge of the atheistic person. Yeah, you're giving your life to, you're worshipping, you have all this sentiment, but for what? Where is God? You can, and they won't, and they will refuse to. You can say they'll refuse to appreciate in any way unless God is manifest before them. Yeah? But what Prabhupada would often say in that regard is, yes, God will manifest before you. He will take a specific form known as death. At that time, you will realize that you are not in control. You're absolutely not in control. And so Hiranyakashipu, he asked Prahlad, where is the Supreme Lord? And Prahlad, in his innocence, What he described, he could see the Lord within everything manifest. Yeah. So in his innocence, he pointed to the nearest thing to him, which was a pillar. So then he said, I think Hiranyakashipu asked, wasn't it, in his belligerent anger, okay, if he is everywhere, if you can see him, so is he in this pillar? And Prahlad, in his profound realization, innocent, profound realization, completely free of fear, yeah, completely free of fear. There's another aspect of another symptom of one who's God conscious, who can see Krishna within everything. And this is the Uttam vision. One's heart has been purified, so one can appreciate the manifestation of Krishna energy. So one of the symptoms is that one is free of all fear. Yeah. So Prahlad, how old was Prahlad? 5 or 6 years old, just a young child, and his father was a monstrous demonic person, practically breathing fire out of his ears in anger, threatening to kill Prahlad, yeah, for his insubordination to him. So Prahlad was completely free of all fear, completely untouched by any fear. And as we know, as the story unfolds, then Hiranyakashipu, he smashes the pillar, and we know who appeared from the pillar. Jai Nrsimhadev ki jai. Yeah? And the Lord appeared. Yeah. And also we can appreciate this, the vision of Uttama in Srila Prabhupada. If you read his conversations and especially his morning walks, and Prabhupada's general disposition to everything at all times was just to see Krishna everywhere. Yeah. That's why the morning disciples would love to go to morning walks with Srila Prabhupada, because Prabhupada was it would be just like a walk-in Srimad Bhagavatam class. Everything he would see and give purport to it. He would give a divine purport to everything he saw. Yeah. One time in London, Prabhupada was walking, and I think Tribhanga Nandana, one Prabhupada disciple, tells this story. Prabhupada was walking in one park, and it was in the winter, so it was icy cold, and there was water which was iced over. Prabhupada did his cave, and he stopped, and he looked down, so the disciples stopped. Prabhupada stopped. Prabhupada looks down, puts his cane on the ice and taps it. What is this? Disciples, they look at Prabhupada, look at the cane, look at the ice, and, I'm not sure what they say about it. It's ice, Prabhupada. I'm just paraphrasing that part. But so, what does it mean? He tapped it. And he's waiting for the answer from his disciples, and they couldn't fathom what the answer was. Then Prabhupada, he said, then he tapped it and it broke the ice. He said, yes, this ice is the conditioned nature of the living entities. Yeah? When it melts, then it takes on its natural form. It's an unnatural form because of the weather. So when you break the ice, so in Krishna consciousness, like trying to break the ice, yeah, trying to to come to our original constitutional position. Yeah. And another incident where Prabhupada was walking in the park. This is a vision of Uttama, where their love, just like a mother has great affection for the children. Yeah. So the mother always thinks of her children. When she sees the shoes of her children, then she may even feel affection and love and sentiment just by seeing shoes, yeah? Because of her affection. So in the same way, the Uttam, the purified devotee, he sees with affection. So Prabhupada was walking at another time. He was walking in the morning park. This one might be more well known, and someone was feeding ducks in the park. as people do in parks. That's what we do. Feed ducks in the park. So he's throwing bread into the thing. And there was one duck, quack, 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 quack. It was making it to the pieces of bread before anybody else. So Prabhupada was observing this. And he was great aristocratic in one sense, because Prabhupada was a Vaikuntha man. So asking disciples again, what does this mean? Just paraphrasing that part. Not sure. So basically, anyone knows what Prabhupada said? What's the purport to that? It's a more easier one. Yeah, he who cracks the loudest gets the bread. Yeah, he was most eager. Yeah. So that we can just that one lesson from Prabhupada, the disciples will carry that for a lifetime. Just like we watch these memories videos, we see these wonderful videos. Just this one exchange with Prabhupada, from such an elevated Uttam soul, yeah, they carry it for the whole life, yeah. So this is Krishna consciousness, yeah. It's what it means to be conscious of Krishna, and even it's described the one who doesn't have this perception of Krishna manifest within each and every soul, and one who doesn't have this conception doesn't treat the world or people accordingly. That's called a kanishta, someone who's on the lowest stage of devotion. Yeah, and even it's described as, in one sense, if one just appreciates, in one sense, quite a highly elevated platform to to perceive Krishna and to appreciate Krishna in his deity form. Yeah, and one comes before the deity, one has great devotion, hopefully, one has natural respect, but unless one carries that sense of Krishna consciousness, unless one's heart is purified, and they're carrying that sense of Krishna consciousness while they're interacting in the world and with people in general, then that's considered to be a kanishta adhikari. Yeah? One is very nice in the temple, very nice bowing down, but then the interactions with the world or people in general might not be the same. Yeah? That's called kanishta. Yeah? Then we have madhyam, and then ultimately uttam. Yeah? This is described in the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, these different stages, kanishta, madhyam. Yeah? Madhyamadikari, he has great affection and love for the devotees. Yeah? Great appreciation for the Vaishnavas. Yeah? For every Vaishnava. Yeah? For all Vaishnavas. Yeah? As I think the Sringavacharya was saying yesterday, that in comparison to the population of Chicago, or let's say populations of the whole world, how many Vaishnavas are there? Yeah? So to appreciate and develop great friendship with the Vaishnavas, yeah. And who is a Vaishnava? Anyone who's chanting Hare Krishna, from our perspective, yeah. Anyone who has a bead bag in their hand, Vaishnava. Anyone who has tilak, Vaishnava. Despite everything else, whatever may be there, the most important thing that's there, this person has japa mala. This person's chanting the holy name. Yeah, this person deserves my respect. Yeah, this person is a Vaishnava. Yeah, so this is autumn. So they make great friends. They develop great deep friendship with the Vaishnavas. Yeah, and that should be our deepest friendship in this world. Our deepest friendship should be with the Vaishnavas. Okay, we can have affection for perhaps our non-devotee family, which we should have. We have affection and we show respect. But really the deepest thing that we should carry in our heart is our friendship and affection for the Vaishnavas. Yeah. So this is, and also interestingly, the Madhyama, they avoid the envious people. They avoid the envious. How can you say them? Not adverse, but they are so attached to the association of devotees that they are not inclined to associate with the non-devotees. Yeah. So we cannot avoid non-devotees in this world because the world consists of mainly non non-devotees, but we do not share the 6 loving exchanges with with those who are not devotees. We have respect for everyone, but as far as sharing the 6 loving exchanges, as mentioned in the Nectar of Instruction, that we save for the Vaishnavas, revealing one's mind, sharing prasad, etc. Like these loving exchanges. What's the 6 loving exchanges? Sharing one's mind in confidence, offering, accepting gifts, isn't it? I'm asking because I forgot. I'm not testing you. Huh? Giving and accepting prashadam? Accepting gifts and giving gifts? And revealing our mind? And listening as well. These are 6 loving exchanges. And what do Vaishnavas speak about? They speak about Krishna. Yeah. So here it's interesting, it's being described here. Although this is such an elevated platform, and it's something which is often described in the Srimad Bhagavatam and throughout the Bhagavad Gita, this point that's encouraged upon us to actually learn to see the Supreme Lord everywhere. So it's like a sadhana. We should try it sometime. It may not be, okay, we may not be at the stage of purity of heart where we have that, where Sattve Jasmin Bhagavan Vasudevo, where the curtains of Maya are lifted and one can see everything as a manifestation of Krishna's energy, see everything within Krishna. The description of Uttam, he sees everything directly connected with Krishna. But we read of the vision of Uttama, and we're encouraged as a sadhaka to actually see like that. Yeah? So we can try it, but it's not so easy. Sometimes I've tried it on book distribution. I'm trying to envision everyone, Krishna's within the heart. Yeah? Krishna and the vision. But I always forget within 2 or 3 minutes. Spontaneously, I'm a conditioned soul. But we have to try. It's called sadhana. Yeah, that's called sadhana. Means we, and then if we try, we want to see Krishna everywhere. So we're trying to see Krishna everywhere. And that's one of the things we should do when we pay obeisances as well. We're paying obeisance to a Vaishnavas. Because why? Because they're Vaishnavas and because the Supreme Lord's in everyone's heart. Yeah. So we can try to see. And then it goes a step further as well, that we also try to see this situation. Okay, we try to see everyone as part and parcel of Krishna, but also we're trying to see all situations that we are placed in as being nothing other than the arrangement of Krishna. The good, what comes next, and the bad. The good and the bad. We try and see it as the arrangement of Krishna. Yeah. Now the bad, it may take some introspection sometimes. Yeah? Sometimes we're in a situation where it certainly doesn't make sense to us why we are in this situation. Yeah? We cannot fathom from our own perspective what I have done to be in this situation. What is it that I have done to receive this type of treatment, to receive this type of situation? It may be beyond our grasp to understand it. Yeah. So now there's a fine point in that line. Now, if one is a serious sadhaka, if one is nasta preshu bhatreshu nityam bhagavata sevya bhagavatam shloki bhakti bhagavati naistiki, regularly here in Bhagavatam, yeah, then one's ultimately going to conclude, even though it doesn't make sense and it doesn't seem fair, it must be the arrangement of Krishna. Yeah? Why? For my purification. And why? Because Krishna is always kind. Yeah? There is no envy in Krishna. There is no evil within Krishna. There is no envy. There is no hatred. All this comes from forgetfulness of Krishna. Yeah? So Krishna, especially with his devotees, he's treating them in a loving way. Yeah? Just like a mother sometimes has to be quite strict with the child, isn't it? So quite strict. Why? Is she envious of the child? No, she loves the child. So sometimes she has to be quite strict. I remember sometimes I would try to cross the road without looking, my mother would grab me from the scruff of my neck and pull me back and whack, whack, and shake me. Not too bad, it was not as heavy. Why was she doing that? Because she was envious? No. Because she loved me, she had affection, yeah, she didn't want me, yeah. She's very concerned that I learn to stop, look left, look right, look and then cross the road. Yeah? So the same way, Krishna, in his dealings with devotees. So the point is we can go two ways. So if one is not faithful, one may start to doubt. One may start to have doubts. One may start then to contemplate being and enjoying the material world again. Yeah? One may start. Yeah? That's why it's important to. Also, it's important as well is when one is in difficult situations, which we understand. Okay, this book says it's arranged by Krishna. Yeah, no, I can't work. Then we have to speak with Vaishnavas. We have to speak with friends, speak with Vaishnavas, and also get their perspective. But the point I'm making is that we should try to see all people situated within Krishna, and Krishna to be situated within everyone. Yeah, even if we're not on that platform, this is a sadhana, and then that realization will come. Yeah, that realization will come. Yeah. As they surrender unto me, I award them accordingly. Yeah. So this is a such a highly elevated realization that is being described here. It's interesting how it's manifest here, because ultimately we know that the gopis will not be interested in such a thing. Yeah. This is Krishna. He's actually described there. Krishna's meets the inhabitants of Vrindavan. And now he's actually finally meeting the gopis. I think last we was here a couple of weeks ago, we were describing on this. Yeah. So they're meeting at Kurukshetra. Yeah. And Krishna has met all the other kings, all the other princes from different dynasties, etc. And now finally, he's actually meeting his most beloved devotees, the gopis. And he's given them instructions, which is perhaps not going down so well with the gopis. Yeah, as brilliantly described here in the purple. I'll just read it again. A Jnani with realization of these facts, as described in this verse, should feel no separation from the Lord in any situation. But the gopis of Raj are much more elevated in their Krishna consciousness than ordinary Jnanis. Because of their intense love for Krishna in his most human-like, all-attractive aspect as a young cowherd boy, Krishna's internal potency, Yoga Maya, covered their knowledge of his majestic aspects, such as his all-pervasiveness. Thus the gopis were able to relish the intense ecstasy caused by their love in separation from him. Only in jest is Sri Krishna describing to them a lack of spiritual discrimination. Yeah. There's also it's very interesting also, there's the prayers of the gopis, songs of separation, I think chapter 31. And there it's described, there's one prayer that they describe, "Oh Krishna, you're not the cowherd son of Mother Yasoda. You're the all-pervading witness situated in everyone's heart. Yeah? So please you manifest yourself before us." So they're saying that. You are not the cowherd son of Mother Yasoda. You're the all-pervading Supreme Personality of Godhead situated in everyone's heart. So essentially here it says, Yogamaya covered their knowledge of his majestic aspects. But there, the gopis are aware of Krishna being the all-pervasive Supreme Personality of Godhead. They said, you are not the son of Mother Yasoda. Yeah? So, interesting, what's their mood here? Their mood is that Krishna's human life, even if it sometimes becomes shown to the gopis and the residents of Vrindavan, his supernatural power. Yeah? For instance, lifting Govardhan Hill. Yeah? And as you know, there's a chapter after he lifted Govardhan Hill, that got everyone really talking. Who is this person? Who is this? And then you go describe about Gargamuni. Said he's Vishnu manifest to protect the heavens of Vrindavan. The point here is that their love for his human-like form is so intense that even if it so happens that they have heard he's the all-pervading Supreme Personality of Godhead, their love and affection for his human-like form and these beautiful, beautiful exchanges of love and affection, that just nullifies even his being the all-pervading Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's not really relevant. What is more relevant is the intense, loving affection that they have for Krishna. Yeah? This was also showed by Mother Yasoda. There's a beautiful pastime, isn't it, when Krishna is accused of eating dirt, and and then his friends go and rattle on him to Mother Yasoda. Yeah, so Mother Yasoda, she wants to know, have you been eating dirt? And she looks into Krishna's mouth. And sometimes there's pictures, and then we know what happens next. She looks into the mouth. She's looking for dirt. She looks more intensely. And then what does she see? She sees the whole universe, all the planetary systems, the cosmic manifestation, like the universal form. She's looking in them. Yeah. And then she sees, to her amazement, she sees all the elements, she sees everything. She becomes a self-realized Gani on the spot, just by looking in Krishna's mouth. She sees everything. And even she sees herself looking into Krishna's mouth. So she's amazed. She's looking. And she comes out of it, and then she begins to reflect from a point of a Gani. I'm thinking I'm Krishna's mother. I'm thinking he's my son. And she's like a Gani. She becomes like a Gani. I am thinking that she becomes like a mystic yogi by seeing this vision, you know. And then Krishna, what's Krishna's reaction? Krishna doesn't like that. No, he doesn't like that. He likes the affection coming from Mother Yasoda. He wants to be treated like a dependent young child. You know, he refers it to the prayers of the Vedas. Yeah. So then Krishna, then even more, he manifests the beauty and charm of his beautiful form as Balagopal, as a young child. And then that overwhelms Mother Yasoda, and she forgets the whole thing. It's of no significance. You know, if we saw such a thing, guess what? Wow, it was an amazing realization. I looked in this devotee's mind, this whole universe. But she wasn't concerned. For her, it didn't. The beauty of her child, his lotus eyes, his beautiful helplessness, and his beautiful qualities, it's so overwhelmed Mother Yasoda that she completely just forgot about it. It wasn't of no significance. Yeah. So the same with the gopis as well. So this knowledge also, yeah. And this is an important point here. It's another subject. I'll just finish on this point. This point is important. Point of our devotional development is very much based. It should be based on, and we should want to develop these feelings of separation from Krishna. Yeah, this is one of the aspects that Lord Chaitanya has come to teach, how we should feel separation from Krishna. Yeah, as Prabhupada said, we should chant like a child crying for its mother. So these are Siddha devotees. We are sadhakas. So obviously it's not going to be the same But still, as sadhakas, it's incumbent upon us. This is the mood we want to execute our devotional service. Yeah. So we should want to feel this mood of separation from Krishna. It's something we have to cultivate. Yeah. This is what Lord Chaitanya has come to teach, the specific mood of devotion, this separation. And of course, we cannot imagine the feelings of separation of the gopis. We can only from a far distance. You know. They haven't seen Krishna for so long, and they come to Kurukshetra, and they still can't see him straight away. They have to wait for all the formalities, all the kings to meet Krishna. But there's so much desire, and finally they get to meet Krishna. Finally. And then Krishna's speaking Gan. Krishna's speaking, you should see me everywhere. And as we know, that they will, of course he's joking. Krishna's playing with the gopis, in one sense. All right, I'll stop there. Any questions or comments on these points? Hare Krishna. Anything? No questions? We can.
I just have an appreciation for your how you connected the purport to Prabhupada's seeing everything in having that spiritual transcendental vision and seeing everything from that perspective. And I was also appreciating like the sweetness of the exchanges that Krishna has with Mother Yashoda and his devotees. Like he's so playful, but at the same time, like the devotees are so charmed by his sweetness that everything else like fades away. That's like one of those four unique qualities that separates Krishna from all of his expansions. Is that he's engaged in like very sweet, loving exchanges with his devotees. And something that was on my mind was it's very, very easy to take the things that we have every day for granted. Because it's only because of Srila Prabhupada's mercy that we have the deities, we have the books, we have the holy name, we have the association of devotees. Because I come from a so-called Brahmin family, and I felt like it was very Brahminical until my grandmother's time. Like both my grandmothers, they would wake up in the morning, they would clean everything, everything was cooked for the pleasure of the Lord. They would offer, and they would wear like wet cloth, because they felt like if they didn't wear wet cloth, everything, if somebody accidentally touched them, everything will become contaminated.
So they'll wake up in the morning and clean the whole house.
Yes, they'll clean the whole house. Like they'll offer those beautiful patterns in front of the house, and they would not eat until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, until they have cooked for everybody. They have offered to the deities. They have offered all their mantras to the deities. They'll feed everybody, and then at 1 or 2 o'clock, they'll finally have their first meal. And then I saw like from that generation to my parents' generation, they would just cook something and offer some mishri or something to the deities. And then, like, they would take care of us. And then when it came to our generation, we completely lost any touch of spirituality. We would occasionally go to a temple, like before an exam or something. And some of my cousins, like, I'm like so shocked, like, they eat meat, they drink day and night, and like
Become
there is
electrified. They become electrified.
Yes, I mean they have no. If I go and tell them anything about God, like they are not even able to perceive what I'm talking to them about. So I feel like in such an environment where things are degrading so quickly, Prabhupada's mercy is the only thing that's saving the world from. So, like, as you were speaking and you were appreciating, like, the temple hall and everything, again and again it was coming to my mind. It's just the mercy of Prabhupada. It's just the mercy of Prabhupada and his disciples who worked so hard to give us all this that we have today.
Yeah, that's just on that point. That's why it's good to hear, because we do get quite complacent to work. We get kind of complacent. That's why it's good to hear every day Srimad Bhagavatam, because it reminds us. It's good to hear from devotees to keep on hearing of what great fortune that we have, because their habit is to take it for granted. So it's good to hear. But interesting point you were sharing about Brahminical culture. You got interested in that. Every family, the first thing they will do is clean the whole house. When they wake up in the morning. Brahminical culture. Thank you for sharing. And okay, unless there's any other questions. Yes, please, Sabuji.
Back, I have to go back into the altar, but
Yeah, you're blessed.
quickly I will hear from there. You were explaining about the breakdown of the three types of devotees.
Yeah.
And specifically, you were pointed out the position of the Madhyama Adhikari. Yesterday, in the discussion, both of you were bringing this point of understanding where we are, having a very objective, in one sense, understanding where we are and what level of Krishna consciousness we have, and from there, be able to do the necessary things for elevating oneself to the next stage. And when we have mostly, one of the things I understand of the Kanishta Adhikari is that you're still being afflicted by by material nature. Your false ego dictates how you relate and how you see, how you process the world. And according to that, you establish, relationships and things like that. So when we have community in general that is more or less on that level, it is meant to be all kinds of disagreements, all kinds of discord, all kinds of difficulties and obstacles for cooperation. For a community, or for our ISKCON world community, that in the majority, most of us, we are still afflicted by the false ego. What kind of recommendations you give? I mean, yesterday, Nrsimha Kavacha Prabhu was saying the importance of deity worship. I mean, this is what you bring to us, the importance to practice deity worship, to purify ourselves, to elevate, and to go to the next stage. Now, as a community, not only few of us can go in the altar, as you were pointed yesterday. For a community in general to come, to elevate, to move to a higher stage, what kind of recommendations you have? I'm going to hear from the altar, so thank you.
To put it kind of succinctly in the time that we have, I think the underlying kind of safeguard, because there's bound to be differences of opinion, there's bound to be differences of personalities. The underlying thing we should develop is respect. That's perhaps just that, just respect, and to meditate upon it, and to want to imbibe that within ourselves and within our community. Then despite the differences, then we will not succumb to criticism, to undue criticism, envy, etc. So having respect, as I was mentioning in the beginning, having respect for anyone who's got tilak, who's the neck beads, anyone who's a Vaishnava, to have great respect for them. So I would say that in essence, just to meditate on being respectful to everyone, you know, even if they disagree with us. So, as much as I can say in that time. Chinada pisa me chira tado the pishishna amanina manina kitana sada hari. Yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll stop there. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you for allowing us to come back once more. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gauda Premanandi Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.